The first speaker who's going to be speaking to you is somebody who is absolutely amazing. I will say he is a personal inspiration. Watching him really inspired me to think about how I inspire other people, or even how I motivate other people. I won't steal your catchphrase. I'll let you share that with the audience. But he is an educator, an inspirator, all the words, in terms of how he orientates in the world. 31 years in the classroom, Central High School. He is an author, a speaker, and all-around motivator. So we're going to welcome to the stage Mr. Leron McAdoo.
Check, check. Oh, there we go, there we go. One more time, get activated. Get activated. That was pretty good. That was like maybe a 6.5. But I know that we can do a 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen, say get activated. All right, so my name is Leron McAdoo. My parents named me that. I named myself Ron Mac, the hip-optimist, the main sticker, underground figure, the Mactivator. I named myself a lot of crazy things. The title I'm most proud of, though, is Husband of the Forever 2019 Arkansas Teacher of the Year, Stacy McAdoo. I thought about saying something that might ruin it, but I'll go ahead and say it. So this is the deal. My wife is a genius. She's intelligent. She has all these cognitive abilities that expand beyond imagination. I had to test her when I met her. I said, I'm going to see if she's really this bright. I gave her a one-question test, y'all. Will you marry me? Brilliant! Brilliant. Did I ruin it? I didn't ruin it. All right, so that's who I am. Today I'm going to talk about not only do we as teachers have to pour in all this curriculum, all of this information, state standards, the things that we have to relay to our children, not only do we have to pour that in, we also have to pull out of our children the greatness that they have inside of them. Their talents, their abilities, their gifts, their aptitudes, all of those things, we have to pull them out, y'all. That's what we're charged to do, because that is when they realize, man, you know what? They can look in the mirror and recognize they are one of one, that they are authentic, they are real, they are an individual. We have to do it for each and every one. And so every time I'm at a conference, I think about the young Leron McAdoo, the student Leron McAdoo. Every time I'm at a teacher function and we're gathered, convening together, I say, will we be able to reach that young man Leron McAdoo, the one who in 3rd grade was illiterate, who couldn't read, the one that they recommended to repeat the 3rd grade. Is everybody going to leave here equipped to deal with the little Leron McAdoo who was in school, who parents came as they gave them this information, and who were kind of amazed, like, oh, okay, so I didn't know that he was in this spot. Now that you told us, we want you to go ahead and move him to the 4th grade because we're going to take care of his deficit. We thought you as a school would take care of his deficit, but you didn't. So I see that I do at home have to take care of the deficit that was left in his educational matriculation through school. I have to take care of it as parents. And so I wonder and I hope that we leave equipped to deal with that little Leron that's in our room. And so the way my mother did it was she recognized what I had inside of me. And so this is the first illustration of 3 of how you not only pour in, but you pull out. She saw that I like comic books, that I like to draw. Now I, at this point, have done a graphic novel. I've self-published 14 comic books. I have worked with independent companies. And so these are some of my characters mixed with some other characters. I get paid to draw superheroes, y'all. But in the 3rd grade, when you're drawing superheroes, they don't give you any credit on a test for it. I'm in school drawing. I'm killing the pencil and paper. Man, I got muscles connecting, just like on there, right? I'm making it happen, but my mother said, I'm not going to buy another comic book for you until you can tell me the story. And you just don't know what it did. When I started reading those issues, I started gaining so much because I started to realize this is science fiction. I'm hearing about gamma radiation and radioactive spiders biting people, giving the equivalent of spider strength to a human being and understanding what that means. And then saying, oh, you got aliens in this, like Superman, someone who came from a totally different planet who gets his power from the sun. Then you have Greek gods like Zeus. Then you have Norse gods like Thor. So I'm getting all of this information from reading comic books in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th. I'm learning while I'm reading, and I'm realizing my vocabulary is changing from my peers. But my mother understood how to pull out as well as pour in. And so, as I moved forward, I started to even love language. So now I'm the first ever poet laureate of Little Rock, Arkansas. It's never been done before. When I spoke at UALR's commencement, I looked out in the audience and I said, some of you are the first to ever graduate college. But one thing I learned as the first poet laureate is my job as the first is to make a second, is to make a third, is to make a fourth. I can't just be the lone poet laureate. My job is to make more come after me. It's not good enough that I make it. I have to do more. And then I have books that I've authored, 8 altogether. Here's my last 3. And so, Mactivating Black Boys and Girls, How to Raise and Teach African American Children, Let's Get Mactivated, Poems of Motivation, and the Grow Life Curriculum. And so, with that, with Mactivating Black Boys and Girls, I happened to become an Arkansas best-selling author. This is a 3rd grade student who didn't even like to read, y'all. So as I go through my life, I think about the 6th grade Leron McAdoo. Now, you may have heard about the troubles that preachers' kids get into. The stories are true. So yes, I'm a PK, I'm a preacher's kid. And yes, I got in a lot of trouble. So in 6th grade, it was this man, this individual, this person, but he wasn't random. He was my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Drake. Mr. Drake, he knew that he could pull out and also pour in because he recognized that I, along with a lot of my companions, were drawn into this new urban underground culture called hip hop. He knew that we were absorbed by, that we were fascinated by, that we gravitated toward it. So he allowed space for people to do what they wanted to do, for them to rap in the classroom. He allowed space. He drew out of us. He pulled out of us the things that we had talents in, the things that we had aptitude in, the things that we had ability in. He drew them out. He pulled them out so that he could use them to pour in. And so, as I involved myself in hip-hop culture and later named myself the hip-optimist, I remember in around 2010, I came to an event in Jonesboro, and it was called Hip Hop in the Borough. And I won first place as Arkansas's best breakdancer. So I was allowed space early on to become an award-winning breakdancer. And then I do choreography as well. I have a venue that opens up its doors for dancers. And also, Mr. Drake put me in my first ever art contest. And I won it. I got to meet the governor. I was living in Kansas City at the time, so it was the governor of Missouri, and he took pictures with us, and we visited the Capitol and went to the grounds, and all of these great things happened because Mr. Drake allowed space for the creativity. He didn't just stuff something down our throat and say, learn this. He knew how to pull out and not just pour in. The last of these three illustrations and examples is my family. So I've introduced my wife. I'm going to introduce my daughter. Now, my daughter, when she was young, instead of putting a star, I could have put a firecracker, but she was bright. She was bright and shiny, and she would go to the elementary, kindergarten classroom and make people cry, and the teacher would call her mother and say, you got to stop your daughter. Why? Because your daughter making her classmates cry. How? Going into class in the morning and say, I'm going to be your friend today. I'm not going to be your friend. Like, be everybody's friend. She was that one. She was a star. And I purposely found a picture with a star with the mouth open because, yes, her mouth was constantly open. To this day, she cannot stop talking. They used to make fun of me telling stories. They said, LaRon's going to put every detail. Not as many details as my daughter. She will put everything in that. But we recognize that. We said she has a love for language. She likes to communicate. She likes to talk. She likes to be around people. She likes to be in the limelight. We did an entrepreneur program. It's outlined in one of my books. It's called the Entrepreneur Program. And so I'm going to tell you the truth. Teachers are ideal thieves. So I took it from a program we were doing at school already. And I took that in the high school, and then I took it home to my elementary kids at the time, and I said, let's go through this program. My daughter said she wanted to do poetry. She wanted to monetize her poetry. And she figured out all kind of goals, all kind of objectives for monetizing her poetry. By the time she got into high school, before she graduated, she had accomplished every goal and objective. She had gotten paid by doing workshops for poetry. She had gotten paid more than me. She got paid $300 for one poem, y'all. I charged that for a whole set at that time. She did one 3-minute poem and got 300. I was like, what? $100 a minute? This what she did at 12 years old, y'all. She published a book. She came out with an album. So she did all of the things that were on her list before she graduated high school. And she came to me proud saying, Daddy, I did it. I did everything on my list. Now it's time to make some more goals. That's because we as parents looked at that child and said, how can we pull out what she already does well and find a way to not get her in trouble with it? So now she's an influencer. She gets paid to take selfies. Somebody will send her a hat. She has a price list. Oh, a hat, send me a cash out for $50. I'll wear your hat and take a selfie. Your jewelry, oh, okay, that's this. Your shirt, okay, I'll wear your brand, your logo. Just send me this. And she gets paid to do that. She graduated as a journalist, and now she does digital journalism. And she also consults private clients doing their digital platforms and managing those. So she has found out that she had that ability. She had been given space for that. We helped pull that out, and now she does that. She gets paid for her words. She gets paid for writing captions. That's what she did. Her talent was pulled out. Let me introduce you to my son, my firstborn. I have a one up there, not for firstborn, but he was definitely a one of one. And I encourage you to look at all of our students as ones of one. They are individual. They have to know that they matter. And my son, he knew that he was a one of one from the jump. All these children we have, man, you know they're ones of ones. I taught elementary, and let me just say right now, I bow to all kindergarten and first grade teachers because you all are angels sent by God from heaven, because 2 months in, I said, I'm leaving elementary. The first offer I get, I taught 9 years at the alternative school. I said, is the alternative school still hiring? I'd rather go there than deal with kindergartners and first graders. Because like my daughter, they had been stars in their house. Ooh, I don't want to see the parent, let me see the baby. They had been stars for the first 4 years of their life, so by the time they got into elementary and kindergarten, they couldn't understand how it was 20 stars in the room. They couldn't understand it. So, and I didn't want to have to explain that to them. It took about second grade before they started to realize, oh, I raise my hand before I speak. And yeah. So anyway, my son, one of one. And so my name is Leron, Leron. His name is Norel, Norel. And so it's my name spelled backwards. And he's unique like that. As a matter of fact, he kind of even taught me that I was unique because he gave me something. He didn't even know he gave it to me. He gave me an affirmation. I want y'all to repeat after me. No one really ever lived. Okay, you're saying that to yourself. You're saying that for yourself. Imagine you being in the mirror. Imagine you saying, man, I need encouragement right now. Or imagine you saying, I'm about to do something, an undertaking that's big. I need to get myself ready. Say it again. No one really ever lived. That's for you, and that was for me. So he gave me that. I was like, oh man, this is cool. And so my son, I did another program. It's outlined as well. I did the adulthood program, and I say I, and that automatically means me and my wife. All right. So anytime I say I, and it's like I did it by myself, it was not me by myself. All the wives and women in here already know that's the case. All right, so I said, let's do an adulthood program, a rites of passage. And the problem with having educators, as your parents, is you are the guinea pig for a lot of lessons. And what happened at 12 years old, my children did not get tangible gifts. They did not get something that they could put in their hand. They got a lesson. They had to interview 12 people on what being an adult means. And my daughter had to interview 12 women about womanhood. My son had to interview 12 men about manhood. And then when they turned 13, they got a few gifts, but also they got another assignment. And my son had an aptitude. He had a gift in math and science. He understood how to count. He really appreciated money. He was selling, I don't know if you all know Blades, but he would fold paper and sell them for $1. And every family would run from him when they saw him coming at any family event because they knew he was going to sell them. So he understood money. He understood numbers, and he was so good at it. So we got him in a room at 13 where he shadowed a statistician. He shadowed a botanist. He shadowed a chemist. He shadowed all these people, and he asked all these people the $1 million question, which is, the answer will make you $1 million. The botanist told him, if you could grow trees fast, you'll be a millionaire. The chemist told him a few things, said, if you could desalt seawater in an efficient method, you will become a millionaire. Or de-rust metals or alternate fuels. The statistician was somebody at a college. He said, if you could find a way to increase and deal with the retention rate of college students, you will become a millionaire. So he's learning at 13 all the questions you need to ask as a math person, as a science person at 13. So when he graduated, full honors with a 32 on his ACT, full ride to college, graduated from college as a civil engineer, got a job working for the government, making almost as much as me as a teacher, then it all made sense. We pulled out of him and then put him in places where he could use what he loved, which was math and science. And that's what we have to do. Say, no one really ever lived. No, you got to convince me. No one really ever lived. The same name I gave my son at his birth, he gave me back at his death. My son is no longer here. The only reason I can stand on this stage is because he made me understand that I'm an individual and I'm worth something. We got students in classrooms right now who don't want to stay on this earth, who want to end their life. And no curriculum, no lesson we learn. All the great things that we're going to take from here to apply in our classrooms, that's not going to be the thing that keeps them here. It's going to be them looking in the mirror and being able to realize and know no one really ever lived. It's them saying to themselves, I can find peace in who I am. If you, my wife said my reference is old, but Robin Williams had everything you thought you wanted to make, but he didn't make peace. He didn't know that no one really ever lived. He didn't understand that it was inside of him, not outside of him. It wasn't a career. It wasn't making money. It wasn't making fame. It wasn't making connections. It wasn't making a network. It was making peace. It was understanding that you could look in the mirror and say to yourself about yourself that no one really ever lived. That's what my son gave me. No one really ever lived. N-O-R-E-L. That's my son's name. He gave it back to me at his death. He told me through his spirit that you can stand, Daddy. You can go anywhere because you're an individual and you know what's inside of you. No one really ever lived. I encourage you to encourage your students Administrators encourage us staff that they are powerful and they can find peace, but the only way you're going to find peace is recognize you are the one of one. There's no one like you. You have value. You have reason. You have meaning. No one, every one of you, no one really ever lived. And so, what you're really trying to pull out of these children when you're pulling out their strengths, their aptitudes, their talents, is that sense of self, that sense of identity. And the way I communicate that to them is through a poem that I told my kids all the time and my students often. On the axis of life, guide your way to stay true to form. X stands for what you have special beyond the norm. And Y stands for the reason you were born. So decide what you're going to make. Life is 10% the fate you're giving, 90% how much you're driven, glued together by a touch of vision. Because the road to success is under construction. So use drive and pay attention to when the signs change, because it's constant detours defining your lane. Your destination is your true intention. And oh yeah, it's true. Intentions are just thoughts. And thoughts may be unseen. But thoughts, when caught, become things. You think trouble and pain and chains appear along with fear like you're the only one here. You think success and greatness and access to the sacred matrix can come clear. Because whatever you look for, you will see. Whatever you search, you will find and locate. So realize the ball is in your court to face. The goal is yours to create. The top of the key is your destiny. Continue to rebound from fate. But understand that you miss every shot that you don't take. So why wait? It's time to decide what you're going to make. Look, don't let walls Jericho you. Don't let doubt Pharaoh you from your call. Don't let fear Goliath you. Look how all of them fail after standing tall, and recognize everything between you and your purpose will fall, so brace yourself. Understand that you were built to amaze through this maze of stress. And when you amaze yourself, understand that's proof of God. From the core, you got great in store. But if you're ungrateful for what you got, why should God bless you with more to be ungrateful for? So break cannots in the cans, make dreams in the plans, and take failure as a lesson and learn well, because most of what you try will fail. But all of what will fail, stop to try. Consider what you would do if this was your last 24 hours to live, because where the power is knowing you got to plot your time. This is the type of passion you pull close, so decide what you're going to make. There's no too old, too hard, too late, too disadvantaged, too poor, too prone to mistakes. But there are second wins, second times around, and second chances, the power beyond the pain. I don't ask a child what they want to be. I ask them what they want to change. Don't bury your calling. Plant those seeds where you stay true. So when you find the grind and break through, you will see the shine you deserve to embrace you, the divine that makes you. Are you just going to accept or be exceptional? A doer, a giver, a thinker, an achiever. Cut those chaos keepers, but bond with believers. Stop asking yourself who's going to let you be great, when the question is, who can dare stop you? Be persistent. Decide whether you want to make excuses or a difference. Welcome your ambition. Decide whether you're going to make excuses or a difference. Know the X and Y of your existence. Don't make excuses. Make a difference, because your destiny is to be great. Our history should know your name. Hold on through doubt. Be strong. Please know your destiny is great. My name is Ron Mack. Keep cooling. Thank God. Be about kicking live. Hold tight and do right and try your best to survive. No one Rilla ever lived.